What's up, guys? How are you? Welcome into a Saturday morning episode of the Daily Juice Podcast. My name is Matt Perrault. You guys can follow me across all of my socials at Sports Talk Matt, and we come to you from New England, where we'll be here for a couple of days. Well, really more than a couple of days. We'll be here for a while. I'll bounce around to a couple different places, so the backdrops and the shot will be a little different. If you're watching on our YouTube channel for BettingPros, if you guys are listening on audio, well, it's not that much of a different sound for you guys. Maybe a little different for us here, but a Saturday, the first Saturday of the college football season, week 1. Now, the Discord channel chat will happen. Last week, there was video. I'm going to attempt to do it again with video, but I'm not positive I'll be able to do it with video. If I can, I will, because that was fun to be able to have just a video conversation on the Discord channel with you guys leading up to kickoff of week 1. Now, Ohio State and Texas, the big one. So we'll start talking about that game, and we'll break down other picks, plays, and thoughts throughout the entire schedule for week 1. That will be at 11 a.m. Eastern. I'm on the East Coast now. 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 o'clock Pacific on the Discord channel. BettingPros.com/chat to join for that. We got a lot of really good things to get into, a lot of games to talk about, a lot of lines to watch as we've seen some big line movement, Texas and Ohio State being one of them, which we'll get here in just 1 second. Before I give you the picks here for today, a reminder of the offer we got going on right now on BettingPros Premium. If you're looking for a new way to break down prop betting for baseball or the NFL, if you're looking for new picks and premium subscriptions that can lead you to our betting systems that could help you in college football, check it out by downloading the BettingPros app for free and then use the code JUICE in the upgrade screen, and you guys will get a 7-day free trial of BettingPros Premium. Promo code JUICE after downloading the BettingPros app. JUICE for a 7-day free trial. All right, let's talk about Ohio State and Texas. This number hit as high as Ohio State -3. And now the Buckeyes are dogs. They are home dogs. There's some discrepancy in the market. At the time of taping, Ohio State at DraftKings is catching 1.5 points. Ohio State at FanDuel is laying 1.5 points. So you can ARB if you want to talk about a 1-point win either side. You can drop down an ARB. We talked about that on the Discord channel last night. But officially here, this is where I'm at with this game. I was going to take whomever was getting points. If the Buckeyes were going to be favored, I was going to take Texas. I think this is a coin flip football game, but I also think that Ohio State at home, being a home dog, is too good to pass up. Ryan Day has been very good in big football games at home. He's been very good in non-conference football games at home. And in big top 5 matchups against non-conference, he's also been very good. Now, against Michigan, he's been horrible, okay? But Texas and Ohio State just played. Now, I understand. Different seniors, different quarterback in Will Howard, different coordinators with Chip Kelly running this offense. I understand all the turnover that Ohio State has had. But this is Arch Manning going on the road for his first start, and he's doing it against one of the top-ranked teams in the country in one of the most difficult environments you will ever play in. I mean, this is going to be a bonkers game out of the gate. Now, can he handle it? I think he can. Will he? I don't know. The Buckeyes have arguably the best receiving core in college football. And Justin saying, the new redshirt freshman quarterback, redshirt sophomore quarterback actually, will be able, I think, to pick and choose and have his way throwing the football today. I think both teams could put up points here today. But again, it's week 1. I'm not betting totals. And I think if you see Ohio State down, I'll be very curious to see how they handle it at home, because that environment, I mean, it is early in the year. It's so much about emotion and will for these players. And I think the offense for Ohio State, I think they get it done. I'm sorry. I can't back Steve Sarkisian in this environment, given the fact that he just lost to Ryan Day and Ohio State in the playoffs. And again, I'm not saying that that's got anything to do with how this is going to be played out, but I think it does matter in terms of the offense, different players. But I think Ohio State's defense, this is Ohio State here, okay? This is a team, you don't just walk into this place and beat up on the Buckeyes. And maybe Arch Manning is him. And maybe he goes in there and throws like crazy and I'm dead wrong. But if I'm betting this and I get plus 1.5 for Ohio State at home against anyone in college football, I mean anyone in college football at home, I'm taking the Buckeyes. Ohio State plus 1.5 here for us for 1.1 units. I just think the Buckeyes are the side here to jump in with plus money. And then at some point during the game, we're probably going to get Texas plus 2, plus 3, plus 4, somewhere in that range. And hopefully we can come in here and take Texas, have both sides, kick our heels up and watch the football game and hope for a low scoring, tight game. So in game this, I think it will be smart, but at pre-flop, officially taking Ohio State plus 1.5 at home. DraftKings had that here, and I'm on the East Coast, so I can use DraftKings and other books as well, so it's pretty nice. Bet number 2, Alabama. Man, Florida State. I have a hard time with what Florida State has looked like. I think Alabama goes in here today and has an opportunity to put up a big, big number. And there's a lot of people who are looking at this Crimson Tide team, and they're like, you know what? There's a lot of turnover here, new quarterback starting on the road. They don't trust Ohio State. Sorry, they don't trust Alabama. But I think Kellen DeBoer has got such a massive opportunity here to really quiet down a lot of people who have questioned his hire, to go out there and lay it down, to go in there and take care of business, replacing Jalen Milroe, replacing a lot of talent, and going ahead and putting up a number on Florida State that I think is just really a mess. I mean, the Seminoles have been a mess for a while. There's been a lot of conversations about turmoil and firing and who comes next. This number opened up at 13. It's been bet to 14. I wouldn't play it over 14, though. I mean, minus 14 is the highest I would go with this. And I think if you got a 13 or 13.5, I think you should be very excited about that, because I think this number has a shot for this to kind of fall at 14, which is potential. But I think Bama wins the game by 17 or 20 points. I don't think this is going to be very a close game. I think the Tide, they're just better all over the place. And I don't trust the Seminoles. I can't trust what they've looked like over the last couple of years. This is a team that hasn't lived up to any billing. Last year, year before, what we thought there might be a bounce back spot. But for Kellen DeBoer, man, does he need a win like this to start the year off in a big way. Even on the road, you go ahead, and I'm going to lay the 14 points here with Alabama. I think that they get a big start to the year. And I think Florida State is, and I know there's been news with Alabama's offensive line. They're not going to have as good of an offensive line as you would like, but I think Ty Simpson's going to be a good player for Bama. I think he's going to be a good quarterback here. I think the Crimson Tide puts a number up on Florida State. I'm going to lay the 14 points. Alabama minus 14 on the road. And finally, to Clemson and LSU. Man, I was all set to take LSU. And then I watched the Netflix special on LSU and the SEC any given Saturday. And I started to do a deeper dive into this LSU defense. The LSU defense has been bad for 2 years now. And I don't think they have fixed it to the point where they can walk into Death Valley, the Clemson version of it, and beat Clemson outright. Clemson, led by Cade Klubnik, I'm not a fan of Klubnik. I haven't been a fan of Klubnik. I haven't been a fan of, in the transfer NIL portal era, I have not been a fan of what has happened with Dabo Swinney. But I'm equally not a fan of what we have seen from Brian Kelly and the defense and the changes that have been made consistently. They keep on swapping out defensive coordinators. Now it's Blake Baker coming from Missouri to come in trying to get this defense right. But they still have really poor grades for Pro Football Focus. They don't tackle well. And they really have gone heavy into the transfer portal, grabbing players from all over the country, trying to put together a defense that can stop somebody. But the problem with that is you go on the road to Clemson in game number 1, I mean, this is still Clemson, okay? Clemson still is recruited at a very high level. Dabo Swinney is still a really good coach. And Garrett Nussmeier, who I like a lot, okay, but his decision to come back to school was mostly because of the fact that the NFL scouts said you need to go back because you're not going to get picked high. You're going to be a third, fourth, fifth round pick. If you come out right now, you might as well stay in college, make a lot of money in NIL, and then see what you can do with LSU. LSU's got tremendous talent, and they've gone into the transfer portal to grab a couple of players to bolster that receiving core for LSU. And this is not a bad team. I think LSU could surprise some people in the SEC. I really do. But Clemson, to me, this is a huge opportunity. In LSU, I watched that special, and I kept on coming back to this idea of like, man, this team really doesn't have a good sense of who they are. Like, Nussmeier knows who he is, but the coaching staff and the defensive coaching staff on top of that, like the number of games they blew last year because they couldn't tackle or they couldn't win on the road, they couldn't perform up to their abilities. Sure, at home, LSU is an extremely difficult team to play, and LSU can beat pretty much anybody in the country when they're at home. But on the road to Clemson, the number 3.5 at most books, 4 at some books, and climbing. I saw one book at 4.5. I think there's a lot of late money here coming in on Clemson. I think LSU's defense is going to be a problem. I don't think they've got the weapons. I don't think they've got the scheme to slow down Dabo Swinney's team here. I think they should be able to run the football. I think they should be able to throw the football. And Klubnik, I think, gets a huge, massive win for Clemson to go and start the year to really make Nussmeier's life difficult and get at the offensive line, obviously replacing some really good talented players who went to the NFL off that offensive line from LSU. I'll lay the 3.5. Clemson minus 3.5 for 1.1 units. Okay, so our plays for today on a Saturday. Ohio State plus 1.5 at home against Texas. Alabama laying 14 on the road at Florida State. And Clemson minus 3.5 at home up against LSU. I will talk to you guys later today on the Discord channel chat as we get rolling at 11 a.m. Eastern Time, 8 o'clock in the morning Pacific Time on the Betting Pros Discord. To join, it's bettingpros.com/chat. My name is Matt Perrault. You guys can follow me across all my socials at Sports Talk Matt every morning, wherever you guys get your podcasts. It is the Daily Juice.